Captain Eric DeJean with Fish Dive Hunt. We showed you our night dive video for lobstering, and then yesterday I showed you a good way to vacuum pack and keep your lobsters fresh, and told you a little bit about thawing it. Try to pull your lobsters out the day before or 2 days before and allow them to thaw naturally. You always hear the debate, what's better, Florida lobster or Maine lobster? I don't care. Whichever one you're putting in front of me is going to be darn good. I just love lobster. So if you got Florida lobster, I can guarantee you it can just be just as tasty. And I'll show you a nice simple way to make them that's delicious every time. You've got your vacuum packed lobster that you allowed to thaw naturally. You're going to take your lobster, pull them out. I'm fortunate in that respect that my wife doesn't like lobster, so I only have to make one whenever I do it for myself. But take your lobster and take a pair of shears, scissor shears, and cut them right down the back of the lobster through the shell, and naturally you'll get it right down where the intestinal tract would go in the tail. Once you get it all the way down to the base of the tail, just crack that lobster open in half like this. And now this is important what I'm going to tell you. You see how this lobster is falling right out of the shell? And some people say the lobster likes to stick to the shell. The lobster has to get really, really cold before you cook it. So if you're out in the water and you catch lobster and you're going to cook it that night, make sure you bury that lobster in slushy ice water deep for a couple hours. If that lobster tail doesn't get cold, it will not separate from the shell nicely. What I'll do is I'll simply pull the tail out of the shell. I'll lay it right on top of the shell, fan out where the intestinal tract was. Now that it was cut by the shears nice and open, you can lay it open nice, and you have a restaurant prepared style lobster tail. I will take it and put it in a deep dish pan, just like so. And in that pan, we're going to put a little white wine. I didn't have any white wine, so I'm going to put rosé. We'll do just as good a job, and we'll fill it up slightly, not to where it's covering the lobster tail, but to where there's enough that it'll steam in the oven. Once we have our lobster tail in there, we'll go ahead and take a little salt, put it on the tail, a little cracked pepper, and then some good butter. And when I say good butter, I'm talking about European butter, Irish butter, some of the real butter out there that's got all the good fats in it and it tastes real nice. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to put one slab right on top of the tail. Now, a lot of this butter will melt and fall into the white wine while it's cooking, but it'll put that nice layer of buttery, oily fat right on top of the tail as it's cooking that we want to have. And for preparation in the oven, that's it. Take the aluminum foil, take some aluminum foil, cover it real tightly to allow the white wine to steam. And then we're preheating our oven to 375. It's just about there. And when our oven gets to 375, we're going to throw our tails in. One tail, usually about 12 minutes. If you have multiple tails and you have them stacked close together, I would check them at 15 and then take a look at how they're coming along. Real important, you don't want to overcook the tails. So through the cooking process, it's okay to open this aluminum foil, kind of lift the tail, look at the underside of the tail, and if there's no opaque, it's not see-through, it's all white, the tail is done. You can eat lobster ceviche raw, so it's better to have your lobster just slightly underdone. Some people may not like the texture, but you certainly don't want to overcook them. Alright, our lobster's just about done. Well, it is done, but I'm going to throw it back in the oven for one more moment just to keep it nice and hot. And while I prepare the garlic butter for the lobster. Alright, when I make my garlic butter, I'm going to take some fresh garlic cloves. And you want to use a garlic twist or a garlic press. I like the twists. It's not pushed so fine that they're not through a press, and you still get all the meat of the garlic, but it still breaks it up enough to where you get the nice oil, tasty oils of the garlic. nicely broken up. You don't want to chop or mince it. It doesn't quite press it and you get the oils out of the garlic. We'll take some of that good butter we were talking about, a generous portion, and we'll get it going in a hot pan. Now when cooking butter, the one thing you can do is you can overheat the garlic and burn it. Burnt garlic does not have a tasty flavor. What you want to do is you want to melt this butter and you want to fry the garlic just to the point where the garlic starts to get aromatic. If you put your nose over the pan, you'll start to smell a nice garlicky smell. That's the garlic being cooked, and it's just about done at that point. So we'll just melt our butter, get the garlic cooking, put it on high. A little more butter in there. I can already start to smell that garlic a little bit. All the nice oils being cooked. And as I said, you can very quickly, if you're not careful and burn it and go too hot, burn the garlic, and that's what you don't want to do. And that should be good enough. That is it. Only takes a second to make some good garlic butter. We'll go ahead and put it right in our dish. We'll let that cool a second. Go ahead and put it on our plate here. And we'll start to plate our dishes here. Garlic, butter, our beautiful lobster tail steamed in white wine. Let me grab a pair of tongs. I chopped a little bit of this fresh parsley here. We'll grab the Brussels sprouts we were cooking. A little bit of our roasted potatoes. And we'll finish it off with what we were making for the wife. A little bit of thawed snook. And bam, easy to make Florida lobster that's beautiful, tender, tasty, and perfect every time. The snook, we just simply did it in a little bit of the key lime seasoning from the key lime store in Key Largo. Salt, pepper, and fried in a cast iron pan. Thank you for watching Fish Dive Hunt. Hope you enjoyed your 2019 mini season, and take care of those lobster tails and make some nice plate dinners.